Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video, and today we are playing a very fast Boros Firebending Ascension deck. So what is Firebending Ascension? It's a 2-mana enchantment, and when it enters you create a 2/2 red soldier creature token with Firebending 1, and it says whenever a creature you control attacking causes a trigger ability of that creature to trigger, you put a quest counter on this enchantment, and if you have 4 more quest counters on it, we may copy that ability. We may choose new targets for the copy. So essentially, the name of the game is creatures with attack triggers. And what's really, really powerful about the Firebending Ascension is, one, obviously it gives you a creature that can trigger it itself, but there is no restriction on that copy ability. It's not the first time or once per turn or anything like that. So once you get up to 4 quest counters, it copies every single attacking ability. And again, there's no restriction on how many quest counters you can put on each turn. It's not when you attack with 1 or more creatures. So we have a pretty low to the ground curve. In our 1-drops, we have Descendant of Storms from target, 1 mana 2/1. When it attacks, we may pay 1 and a white. If we do, endures 1, meaning we either put a +1/+1 counter on it, or we create a 1/1 white spirit creature token. I don't think I've actually ever paid that cost, but it is a trigger that gets a quest counter on the Ascension. Then we have High Claw, 1 mana 1/2. Whenever we attack with 1 or more lizards, we deal 1 damage to target opponent, and we can pay 2 to put a +1/+1 count on the creature, but only if an opponent lost life this turn. Stadium Headliner, 1 mana 1/1 mobilize 1, which obviously is an attack trigger, so it will put a quest counter on the Ascension and double up as well with the Ascension when it has 4 more quest counters on it. And then we can also pay 2 to sack it. It deals damage equal to a number of creatures we control target creature. That is basically our only removal in the deck. Then we have Voice of Victory, similar to the Headliner, 2 mana 1/3 mobilize 2, and also has the added bonus of our opponent can't cast spells during our turn. Fire Sages, 2 mana 2/2 Firebending 1, and we can pay 3 to put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. 2 copies of Generous Plunderer, 2 mana 2/2 with Menace. Beginning of our upkeep, we may create a treasure token. When we do, target opponent creates a tap treasure token, and when the Plunderer attacks, it deals damage to defending player equal to the number of artifacts they control. This can be really powerful, doubling up with the Ascension, because we just ping our opponent for, well, generally at least 1. They can, so obviously the turn that we create our first treasure token, our opponent creates a tap treasure token, so they can't sacrifice that treasure token straight away, but on later turns they can. 1 copy of Inti, Seneschal of the Sun, 2 mana 2/2. Whenever we attack, we may discard a card. When we do, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature against champion in a turn. And whenever we discard 1 or more cards, we exile the top card of a library. We may play that card until our next end step. And this is an attack trigger. It triggers off Inti, but Inti doesn't have to attack, so that's pretty powerful as well. And then 4 copies of Arabella, which is basically the main closer, 2 mana 1/3. When it attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, and we gain X life for X is the number of creatures we control with power 2 or less. Most of our creatures, in fact all of our creatures, base power are 2 or less, so that is really, really powerful, and doubling it up with Ascension as well. Then we have 3 copies of Downey Streetwise Lookout, a 3 mana 2/2. Creatures we control with power 2 or less can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. And it has if an ability of a creature we control with power 2 or less triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. And then Windcrag Siege we play on Mardu. It basically doubles, it gives us an additional trigger if a creature attacking causes a trigger ability of a permanent we control to trigger. It triggers an additional time. So basically, with Downing out Windcrag Siege and 1 or 2 Firebending Ascensions, we can often get an extra 2, 3, 4 of our triggers. And when those triggers are Arabella, maybe dealing 2, 3, 4 damage to our opponent, doubling, tripling, quadrupling up is incredibly powerful, as well as all of our mobilize and firebending stuff. Firebending is only really relevant with 2 mana to sack the Headliner, or dump into Fire Sages for that, put +1/+1 and kind of on it, but it is really, really powerful. Mana base, Plains, Mountains, Inspiring Vantage, Sacred Foundry, Sunbelow Verge, and a couple of multiversal passages. You could play the new land from Avatar, which you can pay to and tap it to give a creature you control Firebending 4 until the end of turn, but I don't think it's needed, as I said, we don't have any instants, so we don't really have an issue of wanting to play spells during our turn, during our combat, but you can play that if you want to, and we have enough basic lands that it shouldn't have an issue coming into play tapped. And obviously you could play the Abandoned Air Temple, the white version, just to help ways to spend some of the Firebending mana as well, but again, not necessarily needed. So really fun, quick, powerful deck. Obviously, it can get blown out by removal and you can run out of cards, but it's one of those really fast decks. So I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe. I'll give a shout out to my patrons. They're Arcadius, Michal, Thomas, and Adrian. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you everyone else for your support, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. Which you can tell we're on the draw because we're playing a game of Magic on Arena. We're always on the draw. We'll get down the headliner first. There's another Windcrag Siege. They have their own Firebender Ascension. Which we don't want to attack now then. Good for them. Get down the siege on Mardu. Yep. How do they block? We kill their thingy-majiggy. And next turn, probably get down another siege and a Descendant of Storms. Wow. They foretell something. Well, let's get down the Plunderer then, and let's see if they block. We can buff our Fire Mage. And then next turn we can Windcrag Siege. And swing in. They didn't attack. Oh yeah, we want you. On Mardu. We are going to have a ton of mana. The Plunderers, they're in 3 all by itself, I think. Or maybe more than that. We may as well use it. And I'm going to take out their Firebending student. What do they have in response? Yeah. Do they have the one that doubles up damage? I'm not sure that does it. Because I think our plunderer just gets there by himself. Well, they are smart, but they can't do the other one. And I think yeah, he just and then yeah, a few more as well, just on top to make sure. We're on the draw again. Oh, at least we're not up against at least we're not up against mono green. We're just up against graveyard stuff. Let's ditch a multiversal passage. It took them a while to decide whether they wanted to block or not. They currently have nothing in the graveyard. Well, let's attack in. We'll ditch a Sacred Foundry. We did miss out on a bit of value by not playing the Windcrag Siege beforehand, but I wanted to see what I hit from NT. We'll play out an Ascension and then a tapped Sacred Foundry. Yeah, they're not in the graveyard for Valgovoth to wait for it to get back. Well, there's an Ardent. Well, let's get down the Siege on Mardu. We get a lot of triggers. We'll discard a generous plunderer. Discard a Voice of Victory. Discard another Voice of Victory. Everything now has trample. So they might have removal. It doesn't look like they do. Yeah, they were very slow there. We go first. No one drop. cats or life gain? Let's get down to Downy. Cats. Sorry, Arabella, not Downy. Now we get down Downy. Yay. And they don't attack. Let's swing in. Now down to 8. Only their Vanguard and Savannah Lions can block. Which they do. We will take out the Vanguard. I was hoping they would take out Downey, but that's not a cat. We are at 32. Why are they? What are they thinking about? They've got no mana. Claws out still requires some mana. I'm not sure that was really worth it. I think they're down to 2 just from our higher claws. And I don't think you've got enough blockers. I don't know why they didn't attack with the Giant Pride, mate. It couldn't block anything. We go first with no 1-drop. Oh, good. Authority of the consoles. Everyone's favourite. Well, let's get down. A voice of victory. Coward. I will discard a Fire Sages. I would like a land. Are we allowed a land? We have 23 of them. Land. Land? No! This is getting ridiculous. There we have a land. We can get down a Descendant of Storms. We need our Arabella to survive, really. That's the wrong choice, I think. Unless you have more. We're down to 11, they're up to 17. They're up to 18. And we get a lot of triggers. What ability? I'm just clicking yes. We're up to 23. Yeah, Arabella and all these is pretty powerful. They're going to gain a lot of life. And they do have 4 cards in hand, so who knows what's going to happen. They are literally going to be up to 13. Well, we'll get down this. I don't think... There, we can put a count on you for funsies. Do we have enough? the scavenger can block something. I think we have enough. Yeah, I think we got there. Oh no, we haven't. Arabella's still alive. They did the maths. They're up to 9. And yeah, our opponent scoops, even though I think they were still well in that. Oh, we have a lot of 1-drops. Let's get out Arabella. Probably eats removal. I would like more lands, please. Well, that gets to the land. I think we need red. Let's get down a couple of voices. I would love one of our doublers or the Ascension. Who plays Assassin's Trophy? Instead, we just get loads of lands. We will put a count on you. They're down to 6. There's another Insidious Roots and an Insight. And they're dead. Insidious Roots only triggers when they return a creature or creature and artifact. Yeah, just creature.